listening to Thoughtless Casual Gaming, and we are back for the new year. 2026, baby.
New year, new us, new things.
Yeah. No, I'm the same.
Nah, yeah, look, I might change my underwear. We'll see.
Maybe. Let's see. I mean, it's only January. Let's give it a bit.
Yeah.
So, what we're doing today is going over. If you listened to our episode at the start of last year, we gave a whole list of exciting things that we had planned and wanted to do and wanted to achieve in 2025. Did we do any of them?
I mean, 2025 happened and things were done. Whether they were the things that we planned on doing at the time.
Yes. Spoiler alert. Probably not.
So once again, this is an episode that just demonstrates our issues with commitment.
Yes. So let's get right into it. I mean, I know that I last year set out all my goals into a couple of different categories. You have gone back and re-listened to the episode. I have not.
Well,
did you do the same?
You say re-listened. What I actually did was grab the transcript, throw that into ChatGPT and ask it to give me a summary of what I said. Because I didn't want to, falsely boost our listens.
Anything to avoid listening to us.
It's a great way to get a summary. Look, I did. I've got very similar type categories, which is lovely, with just the overall headline. Like the one-line summary that came out was, and I quote, "Be dabblier."
Okay. Dabble more.
Yeah.
All right, I get it. And I think that's not, as a gamer, that's not a bad way to be too. There are many different things, many games, many painting styles, many X, Y, and Z that you can dabble in. And I think, and I've already made a list for this year, and I think I pretty much stuck to that, is that I want to spread myself out like a shotgun blast a bit more this year.
So when someone hits the wall with a UV light, there just wants to be full splatter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Not relegated to under the desk or anything like that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's go back. Let's go way, way back to the start of last year. We had some games that we wanted to get done.
That is true.
Yeah. So on my list, I wanted to play a bit more Star Wars Shatterpoint. In fact, I think I wanted to play. I don't think I'd played.
I don't believe that had happened yet, no.
I wanted to play Necromunda, Halo Flashpoint, Gaslands, and Underworlds. Those were on my list. The only one I didn't get to was Underworld.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, Gaslands, Necromunda, Halo, I think I played them all once. But I played them.
That was my follow-up question. When you say played, what is the definition of? But,
yes.
a game was had.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that classifies. That's what we're trying to do here. We're dabbling.
And for the other 50 weeks of the year,
Blood Bowl, but we're not going to talk about that.
No, we're not. Look, I did have, as I said, dabble was their catchphrase, and I had a few games. I had Underworlds as one of them, Necromunda, but then Gaslands actually. So I also had all of the above, and then I had Necromunda, Trench Crusade, and then there was this kind of running theme that it wouldn't take too much to get me into a number of different things, aka Dead Man Hand, Moonstone, Malifaux, Burrows and Badgers. Like, there was a list of games that I was open to without concentrating on. Out of those, I did play Dead Man's Hand. I did play Gaslands. I played a couple of games in Necromunda. I might have played some Underworlds very early on, maybe. War Master was the other one, and I definitely played some of that. So
you did a tournament of War Master.
I played a shit ton of War Master. I played a whole 6 games.
Have you played it since?
Once.
Ah, there you go.
Fucking nailed it.
Good work.
Yeah. There have been a number of other games I've, dabbled since though. So I'm taking it not as a complete loss.
No. I mean, that's a good effort. I mean, with my games, yeah, it was pretty much one and done for most of them. Not from, any other reason as to I was just busier with other stuff. Shatterpoint, I did do a league though.
You played a lot of Shatterpoint.
Yeah. Well, not a lot, but I played a good probably 8 to 10 games.
That is like 1,000% more than the other ones. So,
So, did well there, did well.
Yeah. And look, not only am I unable to commit to things that I said I would do, I actually went back and did things I said I wouldn't do as well, in that I actually said that Middle-earth strategy battle game, no interest. Guess what I played?
You played that.
I played a bit of it. Like, I've had a few games of that now. And I'm still on the fence, but yeah, definitely played.
You've played, you've experienced.
So yeah,
whether that experience was everything you wanted it to be, that's another question.
I'm not sure what I wanted it to be, if I'm honest.
Not Middle Earth?
Well,
no, sorry, throwing that out there.
We're gonna go down a rabbit hole if we go there. But anyway,
excellent. All right, moving on. Painting. So, I had a couple of teams I wanted to do. So I wanted to do an orc team because that was what I was playing in sevens for the first league. Goblin team, vampire team, and gnome team. I wanted to paint my Halo guys. Wanted to paint my Shatterpoint team, a Skaven Underworld crew, and I wanted to hit 50 models. That was my goal for the year. So, going on that one first, I actually ended on 136.
That's
the year.
Slightly more than 50.
Yeah, slightly more. Yeah. That was a win. I mean, I did really well. I did some form of hobby most days of the year. Only missing out on a handful until it hit November, and then it all died in the ass. And
November's good at that.
Don't think I painted a single model from November to the end of the year.
I mean, that is still a significant, like that's 10 out of 12.
Yeah,
they're good odds.
Yeah, so I was happy with that, and happy with the amount of stuff that I churned out too. Like, I didn't count it as finished until I was happy with it. So. I did get the orc team done. I got my goblin team done. And that was, I think I painted 17 models for the goblin team, which was at very least one more than I needed. I got my Halo team done, got my Shatterpoint done, got my Underworld Skaven done. The vampire team, I changed tact halfway through and decided I didn't want to do the GW models. I wanted to do the chibi models. So I got all the chibi models. I printed them out. I undercoated them. I dry brushed them.
And then?
Yeah, there is no end then. They're still here. They're still sitting behind me. The gnome team, I didn't get around to that. The gnome team scares me. It's the Grebo ones. And
they're very pretty.
I want to do them right. So I didn't do them at all.
Because that is absolutely how to do them.
It's not how to do them wrong, that's for sure.
No, that is, I mean, some would argue they're not done is wrong, but anyway. Yeah, look, I had a few pieces, like in that I had War Master and big old fire got lit up the clacker there because I entered a tournament and I needed everything painted for. So, that got done. And then, so that was I can't remember the amount of points, but basically it used the army building restrictions from the lower points value. So you didn't have to have as much of the just core units and stuff. Yep. And so I finished that and went, right, I'm pumped about this. I'm going to paint the full proper army to get it to 2,000 odd points with a couple of options. I had ideas. didn't play a game for months afterwards. So the motivation went absolutely through the floor, and none of that happened. And I don't think I've painted any of it since.
Checks out.
Yeah, this is pretty standard. If I'm not playing a game or there's not a reason or a deadline, it's very easy for me just not to get excited about it and to go and do something else. But I'm still taking it as a win. I painted an army enough to enter a tournament, so we'll chalk that up. Blood Bowl teams, that was a thing. I painted that. We're happy days. We played a league. We played two. I painted teams for both. The couple of things here was I went back and I said, what sometimes really destroys the hobby is having too much on the go at once. And so actually what I want to do is just paint one thing, finish it, put it away, and then start the new thing and not have multiple things on the drawer on the desk at once.
Yes, we had a big long conversation about that. How did that go?
Surprisingly well, even without, like, I was planning on a much more structured 1 month at a time, like what is the project I'm doing the month, and then that lost focus pretty quickly. But I actually didn't do too badly at going, right, I'm going to do this thing, and when this is finished, I'll do the next thing. I say that now looking at 3 different projects on the desk, but it's the start of the new year, and I was allowed to get a little bit silly over Christmas. And
I've got a couple of things on the go at the moment.
Yeah. But for the most part, I painted one thing, and then I finished it, and then I painted the next thing. And that actually was very helpful to not just have 5 projects stall. So I think that is absolutely on the cards. And the other thing I started doing last year, and apparently I'm continuing this year, which actually helps with it a little bit, is I picked up a couple of painting like commission jobs.
Yep. Yeah, and I noticed you've been sort of posting. There's been a couple of posts that I've seen of people asking about commission jobs that you've replied to.
Yeah.
And this this isn't something that you were overly enthusiastic about in the past.
No, and it was a bit of a trial. There were a couple of things I kind of wanted to paint and a couple of things I thought I could paint over last year, and I gave it just a go, and it was very much a case of paint it till it's done, give it back. And the things that had killed me previously doing commissions were too big a job, not knowing how to price it, and then wanting to spend too much time because I was giving it to someone else, which put too much pressure on, which means I overserviced the hell out of it. And so what I've had to do thinking about it was actually say, right, what I'm going to do is take on projects that I can complete in a week or 2 weeks, and that is the most I'm going to dedicate to them.
Yep.
And I know what I can get done in that time, and so I'm not going to take on stuff that's an army. A Blood Bowl team's reasonable. Anything bigger than that, is getting a bit harder, and relatively infrequently. So I'm not doing it all the time.
This isn't another career choice.
No. Break down the hourly rate it's not a good one. But it's that piece where actually I'm painting most nights anyway.
Yep.
If I can put a week aside from, the 52 of the year and paint something and it pays for a little bit of hobby, it makes me feel less bad about buying hobby things. So it kind of just helps remove guilt there. So I've done a couple, and it was very much a case of I paint the thing, I finish the thing, I give it back, I'm done. And
I feel like something like that could be almost like a palette cleanser as well for you. Painting something you might not be doing for yourself.
Yeah. Like, I have no intention of painting 12 Space Marines, but apparently I am. But 12, it's the highest I would go. It's not overly arduous. It's something I could get done in, let's say, 2 weeks of evenings. And that's the most before I'd start going, oh, this is getting dull.
Yep.
And so, as an option, and as something that's just helping fund a little bit of hobby every once in a while when I can be bothered, and because it's that, I can just go, yeah, I feel like it, or no, I
Mhm.
don't, and chop and change. So, as long as I stick to that, life is good.
All right.
So that helped, but that was one of those things. So A, that happened, but B, it kind of helps with the project needs to be finished.
Mhm.
There's a deadline for it because it's not worth me spending any extra time on it. So I just need to be really, really protective of my time, and it's okay. The last thing I wanted to do, and I said I would do, and I said I'd been putting it off for a very long time, and so I put it off for another 12 months, was paint something from the top drawer. And that
This
is
is the special drawer of stuff that scares you, correct?
the box is open.
Ooh.
Yeah. So yes, it's the box of stuff that scares me. But what was actually very nice is recently the local Warhammer store is running a painting thing, and I went, I just need to paint one model. I can
Yep.
paint one model. That's cool. And it did, and it was actually kind of fun, and I kind of liked it. And I went, ooh, that was kind of fun. I should do that again. Yes. Crimson Brush is Canberra. That's out of the question. But ARC, which is a Melbourne kind of gaming convention thing, is in a few months, and they have a pretty good painting competition as part of that. So the thinking goes, I have a few months to paint something. Let's pull something out of the top drawer. Let's put it into that. Let's see if I can get away for the day or so, and actually bite the bullet on that one. So the box is open. Ideas are being had.
Yeah.
I got to paint a dozen Space Marines, and then I can think about it.
No, I like that. I like that. I mean, let's be realistic here. You've won, X amount of ugly painting competitions and stuff like that. You've got the skills for it. There is no reason why you couldn't paint one of these high-end top models that you've got sitting there waiting. But I know that the mental barrier can be a bit.
Well, yeah. I cracked the model open, right?
Yep.
And it comes with a little card.
Mm-hmm.
And because this was a one from an Australian sculptor, it's 4 of 100.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I opened it, went, right, I'm going to do this. And then I looked at that and went, oh, God, am I going to do this?
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, look, nothing. I don't know. Like, well, the worst that can happen, arguably, is it sits in a box unpainted for the next 6 years.
Well,
so
that's it. Like, if you paint it so absolutely atrociously, which I'm not saying that you will, you realistically, you put it away, never look at it again. Yeah. So, which is kind of what you're doing at the moment. So,
correct. So yeah, look, that's the other one. I'm going to very much stick to the one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick up a couple of commissions and use that as all right, but it's a week or it's 2 weeks of my time, and that's it. And we're actually going to crack open. I have cracked open the top drawer, so we're going to commit to that, and then we will see.
Excellent. I like it. Purchases was next. So, surprisingly, I don't have a tick next to everything.
That's not like you at all.
I know, right? Wait till you hear my 2026 purchase list. Anyway, there was a Blood Bowl Almanac, which I didn't own. I wanted to purchase that. Did so. I wanted to get a 3D printer. Did so. I wanted to buy, I was waiting for The End and the Death parts 2 and 3 to come out on paperback. And because every other Horus Heresy book I own is paperback. But they both came out, so I've got them. And I read them. Dark Elf Team. I still haven't found one I like. They're all very similar in my eyes.
Yeah.
I just want one that stands out just a little bit and just grabs me by the throat and says, "This is the one."
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't happened.
There's not a lot that are. I hear.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one.
And the only other one was the Goblin Horror team, the Ugly team,
Tick.
which, bought, printed, painted, ran in the tournament. So did well.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was relatively light on the purchase front as well, in that I already owned the printer. It is very hard to justify a lot of hobby expenses when that is most of how I do things. So, I mean, I picked up bits and pieces, but I'm the same this year. There's a couple of like rule books and stuff I'll pick up because I think, they're nice to have. I very much enjoy flicking through the physical version of a rule book. I am waiting for all the Malifaux 4th edition stock to come into the country. That will be number one. But beyond that, like, I mean, give me a Death Zone or whatever it is with the sevens rule book. Like that is high on the list. But I don't actually have anything where I'm like, oh, I absolutely need to purchase this hobby thing or this game thing, because most of it will come in the form of resin, which is the trickiest bit. I think the only hobby adjacent piece there is I've been trying to increase my reading, which has dropped off so badly. And in support of this, for my birthday, my wife got me a Kindle, which is lovely because I'm sick to death of owning. I really like owning books, but I really dislike having them in the house. I don't, but it's space anyway. So that will be kind of, I'm going to give that a red hot go and see if I can get that happening as a way to actually read more. Might have sneakily joined a book club to try and get me doing that a little bit more as well. So we'll see. We'll see if those adventures continue. But I'm being relatively well behaved on the hobby front, I like to think.
Yeah, you are. You have been in general.
I mean, it's easy when you subscribe to a couple of Patreons that do most of the models for most of the things you want.
Yeah.
I am considering of switching that around a little bit and maybe getting back onto a couple more of the painting Patreon channels, switching it around a bit, because there's a couple of creators I haven't actually printed anything from a while. So maybe it's time to switch it up. But again, that's we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling, and you can chop and change month on month. So
yeah, that's very true with Patreon. Next one I had was events, and I do have a big tick next to everything on this.
Oh, fancy pants!
So, Thoughtless Bowl 6, we did that.
We did do that.
Why So Serious 4?
Also
we
done.
Did that.
Tick.
Yep. Big V. So my goal last year was to either play in 2 11s tournaments and assist with the Big V, or play in the Big V. Then it turned out I was away for half of the Big V.
That is true.
So it was just as well that I managed to get the 11s tournaments in. So I played in Gold Crush, and then I played in Mayhem.
Yeah.
And then I assisted Big V on the Sunday. So ticks for all of those. And I did go to a Star Wars Unlimited card game event type thing way early in the year, because I've dropped off that considerably. But they were all done.
Because when you like Gold Crush, Mayhem are both big days, but then I mean, Big V is a big day as well, and then you throw anything extra into that. That's a pretty reasonable little.
I mean, I was most impressed with Big V. It was the fact that I got home from overseas at like 1 o'clock, and then 5 hours later got up and drove to Melbourne to assist. So I may have made some questionable coaching
life choices,
decisions, but I was there and I helped. And I'm glad I did too, because it's Johnny's last one. So
Yeah.
I was glad to be there for that, which I didn't know it at the time.
No, that was a pretty big call from the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I had plans for events. I had some. So War Master, we knew which was happening. Cheeky V was up there high on the list of things I was planning on getting to. I, for the second time in 2 years, signed up well in advance, bought the pitch to go with it.
Yep.
And then we scheduled a holiday for that weekend. And I was also away. And so that is now 2 years in a row where I've signed up and I have the limited edition pitch sitting here and I have not played it either. And I'm gonna fucking make one. Anyway, that's gonna happen.
It'll be interesting to see what Cheeky V's like this year too, considering Rob has taken over doing Big V. So
that is a big ask to do that on top of, and it would be nice to see someone step up and go, yeah, I'll give you a break. We'll do something. And given it's low effort, right? We will see. We'll see who does what. But I'm hoping
that's your calling.
It is absolutely not my calling. I do enough shit down here. But we'll see if I can get there. So War Master was the thing that happened. The other one that I was trying to get to is there was talk about running Convic. So which is, and the game system was TBD, whether it was Kings of War or something else. It didn't end up running ahead. I think it still runs as Kings of War, but I didn't know anyone playing. It wasn't becoming a thing. So that fell through. It might get up again this year. We will see. And I did have cunning plans to attend some kind of painting competition event in person, which still hasn't happened, which is why ARC is now firmly high up on the list of get to, because I did a number of virtual sort of online ones, but the difference between showing up with the model that you have to paint the back of and having people handle it and eyeball it and turn it around, and that is a different level, and I think it'd be a different level of community involvement as well. So there's probably a little bit more anxiety attached to it, but I think it'd be a lot more rewarding as well. So Cheeky V is still up on the list after missing that one. Painting comp, absolutely up on the list after missing that one as well. And then we will see. It is still the tricksy piece of planning the year, trying to get leave passes, because something more than once every few months is starting to push the friendship a little bit. So it's tricky to plan what and when.
Yeah. When is ARC?
I know this one. I'm pretty sure it is a month that begins with M. I think.
Because I'm guessing that they've got ARC will have a few tournament type things on.
It is. It's May 2nd and 3rd.
Okay.
And they have 40K old world, bloody whole bunch of different. They announced a whole bunch. The Arc Open, which is the painting piece, but there is a huge amount of events for it they've announced.
Okay.
If I think so, last year they had Middle Earth, they had Age of Sigmar, they had Infinity, they had Shatterpoint, they had Old World, and I think they've increased it since then.
Okay.
So there's a lot of games to be played. I'm not going to push that too much, but I definitely want to try and get to paint something.
Yeah, because that might be something for me to think about, because I do have ideas around what I want to achieve this year. So that might come into it. The last little list of things that I had for 2025 was a couple of things to do. I wanted to update our website, which I did, so it's a bit more accurate. And I did try the whole Shopify thing, but found it wasn't really
too hard to get back,
worth the effort and the cost. I wanted to update my streaming templates, which I did. Did I stream very much last year? No, but I updated all the templates.
Templates were there though.
And I said I wanted to get 30 episodes in. and I thought that was a hard call.
Mm.
We ended up recording 28.
That is, look, I'm going to say that's
over one a fortnight. Incidentally, the most listened to episode was our Why So Series 4 Players Pack read through.
Once again, proof that people will not only go to lengths not to listen to us, but to further lengths not to read anything that we write.
Absolutely. So 28 episodes of Thoughtless Casual Gaming. I did do 6 solo episodes as well of a little solo project, which I haven't recorded since the middle of the year. So I don't know if that counts, but together that's over 30.
Mm. And so, look, I would argue that listening to us fortnightly is enough for anyone. So it's probably a relatively good metric to run by.
Well, on that note, shall we get into our goals for this year? I know you've gone through a few of them already.
Yeah, I've just, once again, not structured, but that's fine.
Nah, whatever. All right, games I want to get done this year. So, a lot of these will be sort of one and done, I'm sure. 2 games I want to sort of focus on this year are not Blood Bowl. MCP and Shatterpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Skipping ahead a bit, I would like to enter a tournament for each of these.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal. I'm not going to worry too much about any 11s tournaments or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the last tournament that I entered that was not Blood Bowl was a Malifaux one.
God.
Yeah.
That was a while off.
And I don't expect to be any good at these games, but I reckon a tournament's a good way of getting a few games under the belt pretty quickly.
And I mean, they're both systems where there are plenty of events going too. So it's not like you're starved. There's only one for the year. It's like there's pretty regular Crisis Protocol things going on. Shatterpoint, Paris said there was lots of stuff. That's as much as I've cared for. But yeah.
Well, Arc could be an option for either of those. I want to play Marvel United again.
Yes.
On that note, I want to play DC United when that comes in.
Eventually.
If that comes in.
Surely.
We'll see what Simon are doing. But anyway, on that note, Deceased as well. And Marvel Zombies. But Deceased, I'm really keen on playing. But again, I need to wait until it comes in. Underworlds. Let's throw that across because we didn't get it done last year. I wouldn't mind playing a little bit of Magic the Gathering just to dip my toes in a little bit more. And then a couple of board games. I've had the boys there for ages. I want to get that done. Same with Chaos in the Old World. I've heard nothing but really good things about the game. And it's been out of print for God knows how long. And I've had it in my cupboard for God knows how long. But I've never actually played it.
This seems eminently fixable.
Yes, exactly. Add that to Masters of the Universe. I think we should have a couple more games of that.
Oh my God. I found that at the top of the cupboard the other day and went, I haven't played this since I bought it. Fuck, there's a lot of boxes for something I'm not playing. What am I going to do with it? Anyway, it's still on the top of the cupboard, but anyway.
Yeah, and then there's that other Masters game too. What was it, Battlegrounds?
Yeah.
We've got it at work, and I'm trying hard to resist ordering it in to look at.
Whether it's different.
I mean, it is different. It's got different models, and it'll play slightly differently because I think they came out at the same time. But I've got a feeling if I do order it in to look at it and stare at it for a couple of days, it'll probably end up coming home with
me. I've
put that off.
Do you want to put odds on that? Because I'm happy to put odds on anyway.
No, I'm not a betting man, and I will not bet on it. Those are it. That's what I've got for games. I think that's a healthy amount of things.
Absolutely. And I suppose apart from, so obviously there's a new season of Blood Bowl, which I need to get in and among. That's fine. There's ones that
Blood Bowl goes without saying.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
But, it's a new season, so I get to mention it here. I played Necromunda last year. I did not get the full campaign experience. I played a few games in a campaign, but not enough to really do it. And so I would like to take a little bit more into that and actually be a little more earnest in my campaigning, if that makes sense. Or, something that's a little bit more regular. You actually start seeing the hiring and firing and deaths and injuries and improvements and stuff. Because I feel like I didn't really scratch that itch.
I think that's fair too, and again, a campaign's sort of the equivalent of a tournament where you're getting a few games in at a time. You're going to get the hang of some rules, whereas some of these games that we've been playing have been very few and far between. So
and
every game
was
becomes
like
yeah. So what am I doing? What am I rolling? What do I need?
Yeah. I just need to do, a focused, half a dozen games in a relatively short space of time where you get the base mechanics, you lock them in, and then it's cool. But that's been a problem. The other one I did have on the to play list that never got played, but is getting more traction now, and I still need to try, is Trench Crusade.
I have models here. They're right next to my undercoated vampire team.
Mine are in a box somewhere, still not attached to their bases. I keep thinking about reprinting. But that is a game, again, it looks relatively straightforward gameplay-wise. It looks pretty slick. It's a different mechanic. It's got a little bit of campaign-y stuff if you want to go down that route. But it is still one of the itches I need to scratch there. So that needs to be a thing. The one I said I would not do, that I'm probably going to do, is Malifaux. And
so Malifaux and you go back a while.
We go back and that's the problem, in that it's probably the best game I've ever played. And the reason I bowed out season 3 is because it feels like a game where you need to use all of your brain to play it, and that's very hard. There is a lot of models, there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of stuff, but 3rd edition I skipped all of. 4th edition has just been released officially, and I have ignored all of the beta and all of the lead up and all of the everythings. They have streamlined the models, they've streamlined the rules, they've done a lot of the stripping back that happens at the start of a new edition. I suspect everybody is learning at the same rate, and I suspect that no one that I will play is playing it very seriously.
No, true.
So there's this world about, if I was going to play it the same way I was playing it years ago, it would take all of my brain. But actually, I could just play with my stuff the way I want to play, with the people I want to play with, and actually not take it anywhere near as seriously as it did when it was my main game. And I would get to play one of the greatest games ever made with some of the prettiest models ever made. And that could be a thing. So
it definitely could.
Look, long story short is I've ordered the rule book. We'll have a look. I've made a couple of crews just to see what they look like these days. We will see. But I'm interested to try. This is one of those try before you buy experiences, because I can. So I feel like I can give that a go.
I'd be intrigued too. I wouldn't mind dusting off the old models for a game or two.
And as much as there are upcoming learn to play days and stuff going around, actually getting away for a day if it's tricky, and I just need to probably walk through it in my own time, or ideally with someone who vaguely knows what they're doing, and we can stumble through it together. But that is up there. And then the rest is opportunistic. And I think I've had a lot of fun, especially sort of the last half of the year, playing silly pickup games, whether it's Mordheim, we played a bunch of, and again, it was kind of just silly pickup games and kind of fun, and there was a bit of a league going, but not really anything seriously. It was just play whoever's there. Space Kits turned that into a thing, and I could quite happily play some more Space Kits. The more I play that, the more fun it is. Tonks has been one of those silly in-between games. And just
both of those Space Kits and Tonks were on my list to play this year.
So they are both
but
ones.
Then I actually got a game in just before the end of the year, so of each. Yeah. And they are fun.
They are fun. And I think for most point, we've played Space Kits like just the intro rules, the demo sort of game rules. Going a little bit deeper is not a huge amount more. Once you add vehicle rules and stuff, I'm out. Too hard to take it back. But before then, everything else is pretty good. So, and then the final one, there is, and it's mainly opportunistic more than anything, is that there may or may not be a bit of a D&D campaign starting.
No.
And that is, again, opportunistic more than anything, but one of those things that's constantly in the back of the mind of, I'd like to do more of that if I could find the time and the space and the everything with people with the same level of commitment issues as I have. So we'll see.
That's intriguing.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens. But everything else is opportunistic. I could play more Marvel Crisis Protocol, but I feel like that's now at a stage where there are a lot more models than when I remember playing it.
Yep.
And there are a lot more people who are playing it a lot more regularly that I feel like that feels like jumping in the deep end.
Yeah, I understand that. I kind of feel the same way, except that I've decided that I'm just going to choose a crew and stick with that and learn that crew. I don't need to buy many more Marvel models. I've bought a whole heap, which I've just bought to paint and put together rather than actually use. So that was my justification behind it, I suppose.
It's an easy one to do. It's just, tokens and updated cards and shit, which are all gettable. And it's not like the local community isn't super chilled anyway, so it's actually pretty easy to get in and get involved. I'm probably just making excuses because I can only play so many things. Middle-earth is the game that I said I wouldn't play that I did play last year. There is something here where I want to understand what the thing in the game is, where the depth is, where in that the same people win tournament. There are so many tournaments and so many events and so many things that theoretically the same people win time in and time out, which says to me that there is a skill in the game. Then I played the game, and in the shallow end, it feels like just roll higher numbers and you win. And I know that the same could be argued about every single dice game ever, but it felt more like that than most other games. But I know there has to be more than that because the same people are winning the same events and, with different armies and with different, size events and different objectives. So there is clearly more to it, but I just haven't seen through the matrix, and I kind of want to do that to see, but also that feels like a lot of effort. So there's my problem.
Fair. Well, I think that's enough games for us.
That's plenty.
That's
and look,
plenty.
Other stuff, I will play things.
Oh, yeah.
Bring game, we'll play.
Moving on to painting. There's a couple of things that I want to get done. I want to paint up a Bretonian team. I thought, and I toyed around with a similar sort of idea that I've had about Marvel and to a lesser degree Shatterpoint, is I considered running Bretonians pretty much all year and just trying to learn them and get them absolutely 100% correct. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, and I don't know because I'm not necessarily aiming to hit any Blood Bowl tournaments. I'm sure we'll get to at least one, but that idea doesn't necessarily have the feet that it did beforehand, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But I do have a Bretonian team, and they're sitting on the desk waiting to be assembled properly.
Is it the official one?
Oh, no. No, they all have coconuts.
Ah, excellent.
So, yes, I've printed those all off. I've got the squires with their coconuts. I've got the knights with their little crazy outfits. And I've got the holy hand grenade there, and I've got the killer rabbit as well. So I'm all set to go. Just got to put them on bases, stick the backpacks onto the squires, work out if I want to put the shields on the knights or not.
I mean, because you have to match the heraldry. Like, that's the thing.
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing. I also... Amazon's has been this team that I haven't found one that I've been overly enthusiastic to play. I did jump on a late Kickstarter. It was very much spur of the moment. It was like, last minute, would you like to join this thing? And it was for a nun team. And I thought that could be kind of cool. So it didn't cost very much, and I've got all the files. I just haven't printed them off. But a nun Blood Bowl team could be a decent Amazon.
It's actually harkening back to back in the day when I played 11s originally, first leagues. Pip, friend of the show, was running an Amazon team, and it was an Australian manufacturer that did a metal nun.
Yeah, the Shadowforge one.
Shadowforge, thank you.
Yes,
I was trying to
remember those. They
were a little bit.
They weren't all in full habits or anything, were they?
They definitely weren't in full habit. There was some habit, but there was to the point that I believe his team name was Analog Playground because it was a little bit more old school and not at all digital. And all of the players had names from said franchise.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but non-Amazon team absolutely plays. It works. It's a thing.
These ones are definitely more closed than the Shadowforge ones were.
Feels a little bit more up with the times.
Yes. Going back to the Bretonian, I did print off the wooden rabbit dice tower. Now, I printed this in resin. And it doesn't quite work in resin, I've decided, because the pieces just don't quite fit together. I've tried them on different angles, and like the little triangles don't come out exactly straight, and
it's tricky. Yeah.
So I'm gonna harass Moose to print me off that in filament. I think that'll be a better option, but I want to paint that up. MCP. So I have chosen my team. I need to paint said team. But MCP for tournament style, you need 10 models, right? I have been intrigued by an idea around a team which apparently is not the easiest to play for beginners. Thus, I'll need a bit of work and don't expect to win many games. But going Apocalypse.
Yeah.
So, read into it and worked out which characters could be which horsemen and all the rest of it. So, I've got Beast, Psylocke, Toad, Deadpool. They're all painted and ready to go. That's 4 of the 10, right?
Right. Basically halfway there.
Exactly. I have Wolverine painted, but there is an Age of Apocalypse style Wolverine who I think suits the team better.
Absolutely.
So I'm currently getting Tats to print that off for me. That's 5. Then I have Gambit, Blob, both of which were undercoated. I have Apocalypse. He is sort of half painted, and then I had the official Colossus model, but again, there's an Age of Apocalypse Colossus. So I've printed that one off. I started painting it last night. yesterday, and I got the base colors down. I was pretty happy. He's starting to look decent. And then I sent a picture through to the MCP crew, and as I sent the picture and the picture sent, I looked at it and I'm like, that doesn't look right. I glued him onto a small base instead of a medium base.
Oh, he's one of the bigger ones, isn't he?
And I was trying to work it out, and the model that I printed is a little bit smaller than the official one. So I got my scalpel out and I pried him off the base, and he more or less came out okay. A little bit of glue, you won't be able to tell. But I printed a bigger version.
I was about to say, you put him on the bigger base and went, nah.
I didn't even bother doing that. I was like, I'm printing some stuff over anyway. I'll just add Colossus to that.
What's one more, right?
That's it. So there's that. That's my team. The only other one is Archangel. And Archangel is the one that needs to be on the team because he was the perfect horseman. If you know your Marvel.
Not well enough.
He was fantastic. The Crisis Protocol Archangel kind of sucks.
It's the model or the
model.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I don't care if the play sucks. I need to play him anyway. But the model kind of sucks. And so I found this really cool model online, and I purchased it for, I think it was about $5 or something like that. And then I went to print it and worked out it was in 15 different pieces. And it was about 10 times too big.
Yeah. This is there are so many Marvel characters and DC characters and stuff that they have like the nylon style figurine sized stuff kicking around, and all of that comes in giant multi-part fuckery.
Yeah, so I mean I printed them all off at 14%, but of course that it doesn't quite match up with where they're supposed to connect, and I had to trim off bits, and
even just the detail being getting that fine. I find like stuff when you shrink it that far, the thickness of stuff gets really, really fine, and all of a sudden it's really tricky to.
Yeah, look, I've started gluing them together, and look, the detail's still there, and it's still pretty good. It's just that it doesn't fit together as well as it should. There are 4 holes in his back where the wings are supposed to go in, and two of those are so fine nothing's ever going to go into them. So it's going to need some green stuffing if I want to go that way.
Yeah. Do the usual suspects, because there's a bunch of people that bring you out MCP equivalents.
Yeah, so there's 2 main ones. So there's C27.
Yep.
And Trident.
Yep.
The C27 one kind of looked like the Asmodee one, but crapper, in my opinion.
Oh, that's fair.
And the Trident one looked, it did look better, but it didn't look as good as,
No.
Archangel's meant to be imposing.
Yes. The other one that's probably worth having a look at is Legion. The other.
Okay. I'll look into that. But anyway, Apocalypse team. There's 10 models, effectively 6 models to paint. So that's on my list.
That is eminently doable.
Yeah. Shatterpoint, a couple of crews that I've got sort of built and ready, or a couple that are almost effectively started. Han and Chewie and their crew, Luke and Leia and their crew, and the Dathomir sisters. So I reckon I can get those ones done. My Batmobile. I want to finish painting that, and I've been plugging away at it.
He's coming
getting
along.
there. I reckon a couple more colours, and I can call it a day on that one. So I mean, that's the one I've been working on the most this year so far. So Dungeon Ball team.
Mm.
I want to actually have a Dungeon Ball team painted and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought 80 models. We'll go for 80 this year.
That is still a hefty number.
A chunk, but I think doable if I keep going. And yeah, I have been putting some paint on everything, on something every day this year so far. So
There's
I
11
keep
days
doing
of
that.
success. Yeah.
Problem is, I've got 2 months worth of break from painting. In that, most of the things I've been painting since then, I'm not overly confident in. But we'll keep plugging away.
Yeah, keep plugging. I mean, it's one of those things. So, look, the painting wise, yeah, look, there's some Blood Bowl that needs to happen. I've picked a team for next league. It's sitting there grey, ready to go, but there's just other stuff ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have picked a team for the second league, if I'm honest. I found it. I only found it yesterday. I was scrolling through Insta, and actually something I posted got somebody else tagged in it, and then I saw their stuff, and it's a sculptor, so a 3D printing sculptor that has been doing a lot of grimdark sort of 40k style stuff, but all of them are rubber ducks.
Okay.
And he's done a Blood Bowl team.
Mm-hmm. A rubber duck
a
Blood Bowl
rubber
team.
duck Blood Bowl team. And I'm like, that's adorable. Ooh. And I think I need I don't even know what the team is. I don't think it matters. I have about half a dozen Blood Bowl teams that I would like to get done, but rubber ducks may take the cake. So that is maybe number 2. So, but that is, and then we'll see. There's a number of them that are printed, primed, or in various states that I could just finish. We'll see what I get excited about. I want to do a couple more commissions and just make sure that it is still something that is sustainable. It's not going to destroy hobby, and just be a little bit disciplined about it. Mm-hmm. Then for myself, it will absolutely come down to the games that I'm playing. If I decide to pick up Trench Crusade and play that, like as an example, that will be all right. We're going to paint some stuff. So that will be the shining sort of the guiding factor there. But if Malifaux comes out, there's a bunch of stuff that I had that I didn't quite finish before second ed that I could dust off. And rudely,
we're talking Crazy Cat Lady.
No, I haven't got a Crazy Cat Lady.
I do.
I know. Knock yourself out. I printed one of those. I'm not doing it again. But there's a whole edition of them releasing stuff too that I haven't got and I haven't painted. And some of them are very, very pretty. And it's this combination of there's actually sort of 1 or 2 boxes I could pick up to complete collections. And like the 10 Thunders, which are one of the factions I was playing a whole lot, which is kind of the Asian-inspired stuff, they brought out a library faction. So the library was the key word. And basically it was this kid who went into this magical library and all the stories come alive. So all the characters are, but there is, and so her totem on one of them is a giant Asian tiger made of paper.
Okay.
And it looks so pretty. The paper tiger looks glorious. And so this is the kind of stuff I'm like, I would like those. I don't want to invest yet in another game I haven't even tried. So we're holding, but it would be very easy to fall deep down a rabbit hole. Beyond that, it will be do a project, put it away, pick up the next one, and it will be deadline based. So as I said, Arc, I want to get a model into that. I realized only today that there's an international online painting competition run by an artist called Roman Lapat, who wants to see people do really stupid creative stuff. And what he did was he sculpted like a 15 mil astronaut. It's this teeny tiny little astronaut, and he just wants to see cool stuff with the astronaut in fun spots. And I printed like 50 of the little bastards ages ago and then forgot about it. And I think that's February that closes. So now I'm like, maybe I sneak in a little astronaut somewhere.
You
And
should do
just
50 by then.
I'm probably not going to do 50. I might do a couple. We'll see how we're feeling. He's very little, and some of the ones I've seen are very clever. So we'll see. We'll see how much thought I can put into it. So yeah, there's lots of stuff, but I just don't want to go, I'm going to paint Malifaux when I might play 2 games and go, nah, this is a bad idea, and bail out. So it will be dictated, because also my enthusiasm, absolutely, the games I'm playing I get excited about and I paint stuff for, and then if I'm not playing games for it, it's very hard, or if I don't have a deadline, it's very hard for me to stay disciplined and focused and actually complete things. So let's not bite off too much.
No, absolutely fair. Purchases. I know you don't usually plan on purchasing much.
No, that's a terrible idea, because then I would purchase that stuff and the stuff I didn't plan on purchasing.
I have a couple of things. I've got a couple of books that I want to get. So there's paperback versions of The Scouring, Fulgrim, Eidolon, and Shattered and Soulless. I think most of them are coming out shortly.
Paperback version of Fulgrim, like the one that's been out forever?
No, so there's a more recent, up-to-date storyline of him.
Okay.
Full Demon Prince. Yeah, it's not a Horus Heresy book.
I was going to say, because I have that. You can, anyway.
Horus Heresy books are pretty much finished. I thought they had finished.
Yep.
And then The Scouring is the first book in the next series, which is, how the Imperium recovers, basically. But then they announced Shattered and Soulless, which is like I think it's a short story collection, but it's still in my least favorite.
They are absolutely my least favorite of the Heresy novels. The short story.
Okay. Yeah. I don't mind them, because you can knock, it's easy enough to knock a short story out in a night.
I know. Absolutely. I just found them very jarring when you start going, here is the story that we are going through, and then here's a rapid fire bunch of stuff. I'm like, you've ruined my rhythm.
Fair.
Yeah.
Apocalypse, I wanted to purchase him for MCP. I did.
Okay.
Already. I mean, we had a beloved pet pass away on New Year's Day. So I think it was the day or so after I did a little bit of retail therapy. So Apocalypse is, he's here, and he's in almost base colors. Archangel, look, I figured I'd probably need the cards, and I like owning the stuff, and I also like, if I'm going to use a proxy, I like to say I've got the original in case anybody kicks up a fuss.
I like to tell those people to suck it.
That's also fair. So I might have ordered him today. The other thing I wanted to purchase was, there's a plush toy of the Blood Bowl. So I might have bought him with Apocalypse. So I have a little plush Blood Bowl, which is currently sitting on top of some Lego over there. And then let's go Dark Elf team. Maybe somebody will put something out this year that I like.
Pending. Yeah.
Shall we move on? Or
no, I cannot think of things that I want to commit to that aren't rule books for things. So let's move on.
Cool. Events. So I already said MCP, Shatterpoint. I want to attend a tournament, a GT or something, some decent tournament for both of those. I don't expect to win any of my games, but I want to go and have a bit of fun. Let's aim to do a Thoughtless Bowl 7. Let's aim to do a Why So Serious 5. Those are both potentially on the cards. And then, Geelong Con, whatever we decide to call it. I don't expect it to get up and running this year, but some sort of prep, finding a location is probably going to be the first thing we need to do. So
probably important.
Yeah. So that's more, move it a little bit further down the road.
Mm.
Um, if we can get a convention with 40k, with Age of Sigma, with MCP, with Malifaux, whatever we can do, it would be kind of cool to have a Geelong convention. So it is something that is currently being discussed. There's been a bit of a break over Christmas while people did other things, of course, but hopefully we can get some progress going on that this year, and then maybe even look at next year. We'll see.
I will say the whole break thing over Christmas, New Year's has been kind of fucking lovely. And so,
As a retail worker, sure.
well,
I know it is lovely. I've worked in an office. I love having that time off.
Well, to be fair, the time off is actually not particularly time off. It's actually been, when I say the break, it's actually the break from like extracurricular activities more than anything. And so it's this really, again, it comes back to that really tricky sort of balancing act where I'm like, how do I plan a year that gets enough stuff that is effort and then is enough stuff that is fun, and then it balances that out without overcommitting to things. So it is that piece where I would love to go and just play a couple of events, and I need to get to cheeky. I've missed the last couple of years and I've been spewing each time. I'd like to do one or two other things as well, and it's kind of this piece around going, all right, well, how selfish do I get to be with my time? How can I do that? What's the best value for effort, for time, for brownie points? Because that's fundamentally what it all comes down to. And so there's very much this idea around, I want to attend some stuff for me, and we'll probably run something, but it's trying to keep it sustainable and not something that's going to make you feel more burnt out at the end of the year than not.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the tricky balance, isn't it? So I don't know if I've worked that balance out yet.
No, it's fun. And there is so much stuff on. That's the other part of it, right? There are so many events for so many different systems happening all the time, actually trying to find space, time, and effort to go, all right, what am I going to do when not only are we inundated with gaming systems, but all of those have got communities and events and tournaments and stuff happening, that actually picking which couple that you're going to go to for a year out of all the things for all of the different games is pretty, that's hard choice.
Yep. No, I totally agree.
Gone are the days where I have an event a month, and it was lovely.
Oh God, you can't do that anymore.
I know, but it was fun when it lasted. I didn't appreciate it, clearly.
No, we never do. The podcast.
It's a thing.
I've put down 40 episodes. Again, maybe I'll resurrect the solo project to knock a couple of those out. I don't know. Depends. I don't know. I don't think anybody listens to it, but I don't think that matters.
May I say the same about this one?
Yeah. More people listen to this one anyway. The one thing I do want to do for the podcast is I'd love to get a live episode going this year. I know we've talked about that for a little while, but I think we can manage it if we just set it in stone and go, right, this is when it's happening. This is how it's happening. Let's make it.
And look, I think my last year probably rings true around trying to find a little bit of structure's probably the wrong word, but a little bit less reactive and a little bit more, we know what we're talking about for the next couple of months because we're doing stuff and it kind of plans itself. Whereas I I don't know whether listeners may or may not have noticed that the content seems a little bit ad hoc and what we're feeling like at the time, which is great. And I kind of enjoy that. But it also adds the additional piece around, okay, fuck, what are we talking about? What are we doing? I don't know. What are you anyway? Whereas it feels like we've all got stuff that we would like to be doing, and that should theoretically just lead itself to content happening.
It should.
It just hasn't turned out that way in the past. But I think that's absolutely doable, and becomes a little bit more logical to listen to.
I think a lot of that too is there's been a bit this year or last year especially where you would play something and I'd play something, and those two somethings were not the same thing, so it didn't match up. You know, you played Space Kits well before I had, and you know, now that I have played it, sure, we can do an episode on it, but you know, if we have games in common, we should try and match them up a little bit.
Try and line them,
perhaps.
And then equally, it's that piece around if we've got games that aren't in common, also good. But how do we do content around that? What makes sense? What how do you have an episode that isn't one person sitting there going for an hour? Yeah,
and then what happened? And then what happened? And dice, you say?
They're those square cubes with the dot. Anyway, yeah. So I think that's really the tricky bit. So there's probably a little bit of behind the scenes organizing and planning and thinking that we need to do. The other one I realized that I've done for the last however long early in the new year is update all of the theme songy things. So that's also probably something I should think about doing. But
don't ask me to sing.
Yeah, again, it's vaguely amusing, and if I find the time, it's kind of fun. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting at the moment. It's like, okay, what makes sense? What would be good to listen to? What would make our lives like doing? And I think it worked really well doing the shorts over the last 12 months. What makes listening good? Good is a very loose term, but also what makes it less strenuous to produce as well. And again, I think it just keeps it sustainable and keeps, again, the end of the year, I don't know about you, but end of last year, I was pretty knackered, and I'm like, how do we not do that?
We had plans to record before Christmas and
after Christmas, and technically it's after Christmas, but
yeah, and it's before Christmas this year, so mission accomplished there. But yeah, I think some sort of not structure, but yeah, some sort of prep.
I don't know what it is, but it's something.
Yeah. If there's something you guys want to hear, let us know. Leave a comment below.
Do we have it below? I think we do.
I don't know.
I don't read
there is I'm pretty sure there's a comment.
No, absolutely. There's one on Spotify. There's one on Podbean. There's one on YouTube. I don't look at any of them. I did have the sneaky thinking that if we recorded the video, then publishing to YouTube would be more interesting. But I think it's also more editing work. I'm not 100% sure about that. So,
yeah, we might be able to give it a go. Who knows? You can see all the times I mute myself to have a drink or cough or whatever. All right. Moving on quickly. Last thing I had was books. I am doing a bit of reading at the moment. So I've been smashing through a few books. So I had a list of books that I wanted to get done this year, because mainly brought about by the fact that I have about a pile of about 8 or 10 that I have purchased sitting on my bedside table that I have not read yet. And it doesn't seem to be going down too quickly, mainly because I'm borrowing books from other people and not reading the ones I've bought. But, so, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Alice has finally got me reading that.
Okay, so it's happening.
Yeah, I bought the first book. Enjoyed that, and then I borrowed second and third. And so on my list of things to do this year was Dungeon Crawler Carl books 4 to 8. Book 8's not out yet, but it comes out around about the middle of the year. So I figured, I can get those done. I've already finished book 4, so I'm going to start book 5 next time I sit down to read.
By all accounts, they're a pretty easy read, so you should be.
They are pretty straightforward ones, which is nice. Then there's about 4 books on my pile which I definitely want to read. There's Fall of Cadia. There's the Lionel Johnson, or whatever his name is, the Dark Angels. So him coming back, there was a book about that, because they're slowly bringing back all of the Primarchs.
Great.
Yeah. Let's wait and see what happens when they bring back Horus. But anyway, Yarrick, Commissar Yarrick. There's those books have gotten a good rap, and I bought a anthology of like 3 of them. So that's sitting there waiting. And then there's a guy called Caiaphas Cain. Similar sort of thing. Books have been really well received. And there's an anthology which I picked up. This guy is apparently, all I know is that he is, in the eyes of the Imperium, he is a war hero who always manages to get stuff done, right? In his eyes, he is an absolute complete coward and, managed to blunder his way through things. So it's meant to be, for Warhammer, a humorous read.
Love it.
So, yeah, they're the ones I want to get done, which, I finished one book last night, and I finished the book 4 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl not long ago. So I'm doing more reading than painting at the moment.
That is not the worst thing to do.
Nah.
This is all just, high society. We are just dabbling in the arts. And look, similar, I used to read prolifically, and it's fallen off. And so in an urge, part of the thing that stops me is being like, oh, I have to pick a book, and there are so many to choose from. That's hard. I don't want decisions. So and the other thing that forces me to do things is peer pressure and deadlines.
Yep.
So in an attempt, I may have joined a book club, and so I'm not choosing, but there will be books each month, and that is as much as I'm trying to commit to at the first part. Let's go through. So that goes from 0 to the 10 or 11 over the course of the year, and then we'll see what else we pick up on the way. So that's the plan. I have the first couple sitting in paperback, but the rest will go onto the Kindle, and we'll see if that's a thing that I can kick off as well, because it also might make it a little bit easier without stacks of books lying around.
Yeah, true. I mean, I resist the Kindle because I do like my physical copies.
Oh, I like them.
I like holding them as I'm reading them. Sometimes depends on what angle I'm on. But I do like. I am running out of room now. Yeah,
and this is the world I'm living in at the moment. Like, it's just, where am I putting them? It's too hard. So, in order to try and reduce effort and reduce decisions, I'm like, right, someone else can pick the books for me, and I won't actually have to buy or store. I'll have to buy, but I won't have to store, display, or move. So let's just remove things that could give me a reason not to.
Fair. That's all I've got. You got anything else you want to do?
Surely that's enough for us to commit to. Like, let's just mark it now. Like, do we want to do an episode now where we just record us saying we didn't do any of the stuff?
Yeah.
And then we could just schedule it for 12 months' time.
Done. Done and done. Is it time?
I think it is. It's time for...
Don't re-record that one.
No, I can't. No. If we come up with another segment, I'll do that. But
yeah, all right. All right, what do you got?
It's topical. I'm not sure if you're familiar with a new edition of Blood Bowl that may or may not have been released, but one of the things that came in the new box were these little tokens that you can put next to your model to denote statuses.
Mm-hmm.
One of those being prone, another one being stunned, to
Yep.
avoid you having to lay your models down on the pitch. That has sparked controversy. It has sparked debate. It is a hotly contested topic across all kinds of communities. And today I wanted to find out, are we using a little status band token or something else to denote prone or stunned, or are we just laying the model down?
For me,
Mm.
just lying that bugger down. I'm too used to it. I've done it for too long. I'm too old to change my ways. And it just seems like the easiest thing to do. And the easiest thing, like for me, I don't want to, be on the giving or the receiving end of somebody stuffing up and blitzing a model that is actually on the ground and not realizing until it's all said and done. I will keep on laying my models face down. The only ones which really concern me are the big guys, and there's so many ways around that. I've got coins that denote prone and stunned, and I found that 90% of the time I remember they're there if I've got them on the pitch. Or if I'm really lucky, then there's models like, my great unclean one, which I've got, where I've got the little version of him, which, he's too big to lie down, but this little mini model that I've got, which is exactly the same model, that can go face down, no problems.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Correct is the short answer. I am used to laying models down. I'm very much familiar with that as a mechanic. I'm not at all worried about things getting chip broken or anything because we're painting playable models, right? That's part of it, right? And there are some game companies where I wouldn't want to have to do that because the models are too fragile. This is not that game. But to that point, there's a lot of different statuses and things and stuff that you can have going on. And I feel like anything to reduce confusion and increase the glanceability of, in the same way that I don't love the little balls that come in the GW teams because it's hard to see them at a glance. Where are they on the pitch? Whereas a ball token is nice and easier. This is the same deal. Show me a model that's, and I don't care about face up, face down. Like often they're on round bases and they roll. It's hard, right? But give me an easy way to know that model is or is not a threat. Great. Thank you. I need that in my life. Some models, and it is hard, I find models are probably getting bigger and bulkier and chunkier and taking up more space. And I get that as a concern. I actually don't think the GW solution of the little token to sit around your base helps though, because it takes up more space on the board. It actually increases the footprint of the model and it doesn't make it particularly visible.
I mean, that's my concern is that, it's too easy just to miss that little token on there.
Yeah. And I know some people, AKA Johnny, AKA, what the hell, Brawl Shop, whatever it is, Bravo's Brawl Shop has come out with some lovely little prone stunned status bands that you can chuck on top of your models. And I think it's a wonderful solution for big guys that won't lie down. Same deal. My absolute favorite of mine is my Grebo Croxador model, which has got a little Crocs sitting down and a little Crocs lying down that I've got the models for. And it is such an obvious play on that's where he is and he's prone or he's stunned. There's no confusion. There's no nothing. I'm often a big one for just chucking a coin down and flipping it over for the opposite one. And I'm very used to that because I just don't think it is obvious enough in a lot of other instances. And one player, often it's a big guy. It's one player. Like we can deal with that. If I was playing ogres, I might have to be a little bit more creative. But in a world where I have access to a 3D printer and the ability to scale down a model to make mini versions for my own, hello, I could do that. life is pretty good. So yeah, no, we're absolutely laying stuff down. And where it gets interesting is when you show up to a tournament and somebody goes, oh no, this is how you play it now. You do the little status things. I'm like, A, I'm not playing tournaments. I don't think that's actually going to be a problem. B, I think the tournament playing community is 99% old players and have a way, and they will teach new players more than anything. And G-Dub suggestions be damned. But yeah, that would be the only interesting time if you came up with someone and went, oh no, I'd really rather you do this. Like, yeah, I didn't bring status token thingies.
I mean, I have a beautiful set that Moose printed out for me, which is just lovely, which I'm sure I will eventually remember to throw in when I'm playing Blood Bowl, but I haven't played the new season yet anyway. So.
The other ones, though, like the Chomped and Distracted, I mean, sure, absolutely, because they're temporary, they're uncommon or less common, and it's a clear way to denote something different.
Yeah.
But otherwise, just lay the goddamn models down.
On that note, that's it from us. Thank you very much for putting up with our little lists and checklists and things that we want to do and probably won't get around to doing any of them.
All right. I would be curious to know, and I know this is a one-way medium, so probably not, but I'm assuming that people have means of contacting or discussing, like, do people go, this is what I want to achieve this year? Or is that a realm reserved for the content streamers to go, how do I get free content for an episode? Oh, I'll talk about shit I might do. But it'd be interesting to know how many people are like, nah, new year, I'm going to create a list of stuff I want to do, or that have stuff on the list and they're like, all right, I want to be held accountable.
Yeah, I mean, for me, last year, it was very much, here's an episode, but I noted everything down. And throughout the year, it gave me goals to pursue, which I found really helpful. So I'm hoping that's what the plan is for this year anyway. So we'll wait and see. But if you have any goals, let us know. Jump in our Discord. If you are planning on jumping in our Discord, be aware that we have a rules section that you'll need to read before you can post. There's been a couple of people recently that have jumped into the Discord and have not clicked on everything that they need to click on, so cannot reply back.
Everybody since then. Except me, who I jumped on and went, nothing looks different. What is everyone talking about?
But for those new people jumping in, who knows? They could be bots. We don't know. The things are in there so that A, it keeps the Discord tidy for you, the reader, and B, hopefully it stops anybody jumping in that shouldn't be jumping on. But yeah, jump in our Discord. Definitely a great place to be. Lots of people to chat to. Give us a follow: Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, Twitch, to a degree. All of the above. And as always, thank you very much to our Patreons. I have gone through and I have adjusted the tiers for our Patreon this year. Tried to streamline it a little bit, make it a little bit less, less shotgunny, let's say. I've narrowed it down. There's 3 options. So there's a casual, there's a gaming, and there's a thoughtless tier, and that's it.
That all makes sense.
So if you are at all interested in becoming a Patreon, jump on, choose the tier that suits you.
What? I don't even know this, but I actually want to know which one is the high. I assume thoughtless is the highest and we work downwards.
Well, yeah, so it didn't quite marry up, but casual is the base.
Yeah.
Because it's casual.
That makes sense.
Gaming gives you extra stuff for gaming, like dice and other stuff. And then thoughtless is the
ludicrous.
That, are silly and jump on that level. So it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's not in OCD ranking, which it should be. But,
and we will forever be torn about this.
Oh, God, yes. So thank you to all our patrons, but extra special thanks to the guys that have jumped on and changed their tiers. So we have Brad and Anthony at the gaming level, and we have Jared and Anthony S at the thoughtless level. So much appreciated, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for making sense out of the tiers that I've made. I think I've made them worthwhile, more so than they were anyway.
All I heard was tears were made.
Tears were made and shed. On that note, laters.
Gotcha.